Hi, welcome to Love Saranghae with Peter and Andrea. In the next 30 minutes, we'll take you on a journey into the exciting world of entrepreneurship, relationships, and the secrets behind achieving that coveted glow. Are you ready? Let's go.
Welcome back to another episode of Love Saranghae with us, Peter and Andrea. Today we're joined by an extraordinary guest, one of my dear friends and business besties, Chernell Bartholomew. A mom of three, certified health coach, Ritz-Carlton award-winning registered massage therapist. She's amazing, by the way. Best-selling author and speaker with over 18 years in the health and wellness industry. Chernell is passionate about helping women, especially mothers, and female entrepreneurs navigate burnout and reclaim their energy. Today, we're talking about the impact of stress on the body, mind, and skin, and how to truly take care of ourselves so we can take better care of those around us. Are you guys ready to go?
Yeah.
Welcome, Chernell.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much for being here. We're so happy to have you.
I'm excited to get into it.
So I wanted to start with just I want our community to get to know you and learn a little bit about who you are, what you do, your journey. Like, you have such an incredible background in health and wellness and just total well-being. Can you share a bit about your journey, what led you to this work, and what inspired your passion for helping women specifically navigate burnouts?
Yeah. My name is Chernell. Thank you for the introduction. I have been in the health and wellness world for 18 years, almost 19 years now, as a registered massage therapist, and more recently the last 5 as a health coach, as a certified health and energy coach. And where my journey began was I knew I wanted to help people. I knew I wanted to serve. I grew up being pretty athletic, so movement was always something that was important to me. And along with movement comes injuries. So finding myself in physio clinics, in massage therapy clinics, and knowing that I wanted to be part of that world that helped people move away from pain, get over chronic injuries. It was just something that really excited me. And I gravitated towards massage therapy more because the idea of using my own body, my own expertise, my own energy to help heal someone, like, that is insane to me. It still gets me so excited. So that was where it all began. And then once you're with your clients and you're on this health journey with you, they're vulnerable. They're there on the table. They're sharing about their life and their stress and what they're going through. And I'm physically feeling the stress in their body. And I wanted to help in a deeper way. And that was like the next level. It's like, I want to help you outside of this office, outside of this clinic, outside of this spa. I wanted to be able to give them real fundamental tools to take their health and energy to the next level.
The other thing I love about what you do, though, is that you talk a lot about, like, diet and how we don't do diets here. Like, we enjoy our food. And I see that, I've been friends with you for years now. And that's one thing that you've always been true to, is food is medicine and food is wellness, and enjoying food is part of it. It's not, let's remove everything so you can be skinny. It's not about that at all. And I really love that. That's different from a lot of the other energy or health coaches that you see on the market right now.
Yeah. Part of what kept me away from going into health coaching was the idea that I needed to be super tall, super skinny. Like, I need to do yoga 5 days a week. I need to eat only vegan, only organic, there's this idea that food was only like the macros. That was it. It was just fuel. And like, my husband's Italian, I'm Trini. Our food is good.
I'm sure.
Right? Like, food we celebrate in community with food. We have traditions surrounding food. So the idea of being on a diet and stripping everything away and saying, this is how you're supposed to eat to be healthy, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit with me. So it's about your energy. It's about how you feel. And it's about the joy that food actually brings to you. And it's about the actual fuel that it gives your body in terms of energy. So how you feel.
So I think this modern trend of equating health with how you look on the in Instagram is completely wrong.
Yeah.
Right? It has nothing to do with each other.
Yeah. It's so far left, and it leaves people more confused. Because now there's like the diet wars of like, should you be vegan or should you be carnivore or should you be paleo? And it's making people confused.
Yeah.
When really it's like, are you getting protein? Are you getting vegetables and fiber? Throw in some healthy fats. Let's call it a day. You can have the piece of cake to celebrate. It's not, we can't be labeling things good and bad, because then we start to label ourselves and then you go into a deeper spiral there.
No, I agree with you. I 100%, because when you look through the history of food and health in North America, it's all about finding that secret hero ingredient. Oh, you have to have protein. It's always the fat, or it's carbs. They're just macros, right? You know, they're all needed and they're all necessary.
Absolutely. We need it all. And then they pick something. They're like, oh, I see acai berry. And then they go, oh my God, now it's coconut oil. And then it's like, they just jump from thing to thing.
And also the thing is that things keep changing. Like what's good for you, quote unquote, changes as research changes and science evolves and other things. So it's like, I mean, from my experience with my gut health, what works for me might not necessarily work for you. And what's really nourishing and good for me may not be for you. And so really understanding your unique body and composition and all the things that come with it, it's so important.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is the approach. It's very unique. It's very tailored and specific. There are definitely general rules that we could all just live by and we'll all be happier, healthier, more energetic. But when it comes down to individual like specificity, you have to tune in. You have to start listening to your body because it's talking to you all the time. We've just learned to ignore it, right? My first experience with burnout came after I had my first daughter. And after that experience, I was like, okay, there has to be a place where we're not just talking about being skinny and we're actually talking about like waking up with excitement and not crashing at 2 p.m. every day and not having to rely on coffee or just the guilt and the comparison, right? That comes with trying to fit some sort of very North American standard of like health and beauty. And that's where I started to put everything like research, training, courses, studying together to build something of my own.
Is that why you decided to focus more on women?
Yeah. For me, it was like I was the person I needed years ago.
Yeah.
So it was very easy for me to identify with the mom, the multiple kids, the now discovering who you are with this like new life you have to take care of in this new body. And then throw on top of that being an entrepreneur. That's a whole other growth like cycle and journey. And 100%. Learning to take care of yourself again, right?
The pressure that is put on women, perhaps maybe just in North America, I can't speak elsewhere, but it's huge. Like just after having a baby, to get back to your pre-baby weight, to fit into your clothes, to do it all. And I think we've normalized that. Like women have to bounce back quickly. We have to cook all the things from scratch. You have to make sure our kids are so happy and healthy and, they're not on their screens ever. And they're, all these judgments and expectations that we put on ourselves and each other. It's so overwhelming and it's exhausting.
Yeah, it's the idea that you're supposed to work like you don't have kids and then you're supposed to like mother like you don't have work or anything else outside. But now, instead of comparing yourself to your neighbor, you're comparing yourself to someone like on the other side of the world who has a chef and a trainer and a nanny and like all of the things. And then how do you feel when you see that and you think you should be doing all of those things?
And then add that like Instagram filters and like what's real versus reality. It's hard to know.
Exactly. I mean, how much of what they say and how they live is really true?
Exactly. Like you're seeing a snippet of an edited piece of content that they're showing you.
Yeah,
So you have no idea what behind the scenes, what their internal system is doing, what their mindset is. You have no idea other than what they show you.
Well, it's edited and curated, right?
Yes.
It's like, for sure.
So Chernell, based on like the women that you work closely with, and Chernell works with thousands of women in different capacities, what do you believe is the biggest challenge they face, or challenges they face in balancing leadership, motherhood, and self-care? What's the first step in overcoming these struggles? What do you think?
Yeah, so I would say there's two things that pop up the most. It's time. And I say the myth of balance. Exactly what we were talking about before. Like that word for me, oh gosh. I don't know if there actually is balance. I feel like there's integration, there's cycles, there's flow, but I don't think every single part of your life is ever going to run perfectly fine like that beautiful Instagram feed. So
I agree.
Yeah, it's hard. And that's the pressure, right? If you release that pressure and you say, okay, maybe this week is like a work week. It's a grind. I might not pick up the kids on time. You might have to order dinner once or twice. It's this like snap into reality. I think that's more realistic than saying like everything needs to be done perfectly all of the time.
100%.
I think that's a lot of guilt and pressure.
So maybe balance is imbalance.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And recognizing that and allowing that, like almost surrendering to the fact that this journey is going to have its bumps in the road and the ups and the downs. And that's part of the evolution of who you are as a person, as a mother, as a friend, as a business owner. So the myth of balance pops up a lot. And that comes from the comparison. And also time. The idea that we need so much time to dedicate in order to be healthier, happier. Like they're like, oh, I can't get to the gym for 90 minutes. Well, like maybe you can just literally dance in your kitchen for 5 minutes. Like that's going to make you happy right now in this moment. It's going to get you moving. It's going to boost your energy. Maybe your family and your kids are going to see you happy. They're going to think you're crazy, but they're going to think it's funny. They're going to laugh. They're going to enjoy it. And that can change your energy and your whole focus as well. So the idea that we need all of this very rigid time, like 90 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours, we have to let that go.
I used to think that. I used to be that person where, okay, going to the gym was like a 3-hour thing for me. Driving there, going to do my workout, then I have to wash my hair, and my hair takes forever. So I don't have time for that. But now I find that I literally do my workout in my pajamas. Like I wake up and get to the mat. Or, in like last night, I forgot to do it. And I really wanted to be committed. I'm trying to be committed to doing it when I say I'm going to. So I had my clothes on and I was in the living room and I just dropped and I didn't do it. And it was 15 minutes. I felt so much better. I had a good sleep. So yeah, I think it's really just like, it doesn't have to be this way or that way. It should be whatever works for you in your moment. And then the other thing I wanted to go back to when you're talking about this myth of balance, someone said this and it stuck with me forever. Her name's Lexi and she's a wax on founder here in North America. And she said she has 4 kids, I think under the age of 6, and 2 of them are twins. And she said it's not about balance, it's about conscious trade-offs. So I'm consciously deciding what I'm okay to give up and what I'm not. And the things that I'm not okay to give up, I prioritize. And the things that I am, I give it away. So someone else will do it. And I'm okay with it. I've dealt with the guilt. I've dealt with whatever that is. And that's how I manage it all. And I really love that because you can't be everywhere all the time. And sometimes it feels like when you're winning at the office, you're failing at home. You're missing bedtime, you're missing a meeting at the office, whatever it is. But when you make the decision that I'm not going to feel guilty about this, I'm choosing to be at this meeting and I'm choosing to let someone else put my kids to bed, it changes everything.
Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. It's like, it's tapping into what you truly desire and what you want. And it's like harmony in your life. Releasing the guilt allows you to do the things in that moment and be present and make that decision. So you're not out of control. You're now in control. Like you're consciously choosing what you're going to focus on.
Exactly.
And when you do that, you feel pride, right? You keep your promises to yourself. You feel great.
That's right. So Chernell, do you think that men go through the same type of guilt cycle and they just learn to repress these emotions, which probably comes out violently later? Or are they just not as introspective as women? Like, what do you think about this entire cycle of stress and what we just talked about in men?
Yeah, I think that in terms of society, the way we build women up and the way we build men up is different.
Yes.
So I do think, especially young boys, they still have the image things happening. They still have the thoughts about, like, for women, it's like, how feminine can you be and how mothering and maternal can you be? But for men, it's like, how strong can I be? Am I the provider? Am I doing the right thing?
Don't
like, they're
cry,
getting...
man up.
Yeah, like, don't cry, don't show emotion. So then when we go, are you emotional? The answer is yes. But yeah, they've learned to repress a lot of it. And a lot of what they feel is kind of shown by their environment and their status and what they have or how they act, right? I still think there are pressures on men. I feel like motherhood is that tipping point where then a lot more of the pressure is on females and women. Because for men, I still think it's like, if you have your boys' night, you're like, well, I'm a dad now, but I'm keeping my boys' night. Right? For women, it's like, I have to let go of everything because now I'm a mom. I have to forget who I am as a person. This is a new person. And then you have to rediscover yourself later. So I think, yes, there are definitely pressures on men and young boys.
They're different.
But I think
pressures,
motherhood switches it a little bit. Yeah.
I would also ask you this. Can I ask you this, Peter? When you travel for business, do you feel guilty for leaving the kids? And are you worried about what they're going to eat, if they're going to get to bed on time, are they going to be okay? Do you have any of those worries when you travel?
No, I don't. And there's a couple of reasons why. Number one is I feel that those type of details is better decided by the mother anyway. Like, I'm not as good as my wife in making sure that happens. That's one. And two is I understand that my primary role is to ensure that the household has as much resources for us to, do everything possible. So the best I can do is get to a conference or a job, do the best I can so that we can make the most resources that we can make, and then let my wife do the zone of genius that she does, which is, take care of the kids. Yeah.
So right there, the mental load you do not have in that domain. And
that's right.
You have a load for sure, and that's, that shouldn't be discredited, but it's the load of the children and leaving them and the sadness and guilt and conflicted emotions associated with leaving. You don't experience.
No, I think my stress load is in different areas. Like, for example, if we lost our company and we can't make our mortgage in 3 months, I think it would be, everybody would look on the father or me and say, what are we going to do? Right? So there's peaks and valleys of stress in that side. Yours happens to be every day.
Yes.
As a mother.
Yeah. Because you're given this role where you're responsible for the social development of your kids, the physical development, what they're eating. You're entrusted with taking care of a human being and making sure they develop into a good person. So it's not just here's some stuff. It's like, are you a good person? Are you feeling well? Do you need something? Is like security. They need love. They need connection. And you're entrusted with that every day, all the time. Right? So there's so many different levels. And I think that's why I can identify with a female, with a mom, with a female entrepreneur who's also a mom, because it comes with its own special breed of just challenges. And like you said, there's a lot more guilt there when you're choosing.
Yeah. The guilt is big for me. Like, I'm traveling for work on Monday. So at the time of recording this, we're in February, and I'm going next week for a week. And it's the first time I've ever left my whole family for a week. I've never left Peter even. I think maybe I did once, but before we had children. So the guilt and the worry, and I'm leaving them with their father.
They're going to eat a lot of ramen, a lot of instant food, and there's a great Kubide restaurant down the street. We'll be eating a lot of that.
And you know what? That's totally fine. But if it was switched, I would still try to keep up and maintain everything that I always do with the support of Peter. But having Peter gone, I wouldn't change the expectation of what I want the kids to eat and sleep and when. And that's the difference between men and women. Men let go of things that are important. Like, I feel like Peter is really good at, like, eye on the tiger. You focus on the goal, and who cares about everything else? The house could be burning down, but the kids will not be late for school. The door may not be locked. The dishes will not be done. Clothes will be on the way down the steps. It's okay. The kids made it to school in one piece on time.
30 seconds. 30 seconds to spare.
There's something to be said about that. Like, that's very different from me, but maybe that's where we should be going towards. I don't know.
Yeah, and there's like, it's great to leave your children with your partner if you have a safe, secure, good partnership, because it allows them to then be the full parent, to start thinking like you would be thinking about, like, okay, well, if this time is bedtime, that means dinner needs to be this time. That means snack needs to be at this time. That means I need to, there's a whole series of thought process to get to the end or get to the beginning of the day. And now they take that on. I think that just increases your relationship even more so, because then you're going to understand kind of what's going through her head and she's going to understand what's going through your head. My husband's been away for 5 days. He comes back tomorrow. And it was the same thing. It was like, okay, I'm solo this week. So it wasn't like, okay, breakfast prepped, lunch is prepped, everyone needs to get to school on time. But it was like, we are ordering dinner like 3 times this week.
It's going to happen.
Okay? It's going to happen. And you have to release the guilt. It's that expectation that you can kind of continue on like nothing is different when everything is different. Yeah. You have to recognize your capacity.
That's so true. That's so true.
Paw Patrol will be on TV 24/7.
Yes, to
Paw Patrol.
It's honorable. You know, I think, Chernell, just from watching you over the years, like, you have 3 kids, you have multiple businesses, you are not bored, you are so busy, and always when I see you, you have this sense of calm, like your voice just calms me down. So I feel like you really live this. Like, you don't just tell people what to do. You really live by example in terms of how to really nurture yourself so that you can support others. And you're really in tune with what you need and the things that are good for you. And you make sure that you get those things done every day. Like, with even simple things, like in the summer, watering your garden, going for those walks, dancing with your daughter on the way home from school. Like, those little things make such a big difference. And I think we tend to try to make things bigger and harder than they need to be.
Yeah, it's about simplicity. It's about, like, if you strip it all away and make it as simple as possible and as enjoyable as possible, then you actually get to live a really authentic life. Like, it doesn't have to be complicated. I am doing a few things, but I'm doing things that I love, and I'm making space for everything that's really important. And what I realized was, you know, they say like your secret sauce, your special thing is something that like you do. No one else really thinks about it that way. And I couldn't figure out what my special sauce was until people started saying like, how are you so chill? Like, how are you so calm? Like, how is your energy so like, you know, like even sustained? You're good. And I was like, that's my thing, is because I'm able to recognize when I'm getting stressed and make sure that I tap into some of those strategies. But I'm also not somebody who takes things to heart. I can recognize that people are coming from their different perspectives, and I can learn to let certain things drop away and fall so they don't necessarily affect exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah. So now we know that stress takes a toll on the entire body, like that's a given. But many don't realize how much it impacts our skin. And from your perspective, how does chronic stress affect our health, our appearance, and what role does this holistic approach that you offer play in reversing these effects? Or can we even reverse them? What's your thoughts on that?
I feel like we look at the body like it's all of these separate parts, but really we're one whole being, like one whole entity. So there's no way you can put, crappy fuel in and expect maximum output, right? Good hair, good skin, good nails, good energy.
Yeah, agreed.
But I'm like eating in 5 minutes in the car in a drive-through trying to get to that next meeting and stressed out about it. So as a massage therapist, I physically have felt the manifestations of stress. It's the tight neck and shoulders. It's that chronic headaches. It's the low back pain that like out of nowhere doesn't go away. You've been dealing with it for years. It's the flare-ups of your skin, right? The inflammation that is so systemic that it's flare-ups in your digestion and it's flare-ups on your skin. It's extra oily. It's breakouts. It's eczema. It shows up like inside out. But some of the symptoms we've just normalized is like, oh, this is just my day-to-day. Yeah, this is just age.
This is normal now.
Yeah, and it's like, no, your body is like screaming at you. Yeah, it's talking to you. It's telling you that something needs to change.
Yeah, agreed.
Do you believe these things can be reversed?
I think most of it can be reversed. Absolutely. With intention and focus. Yeah. It can't just be like, try this trend this week and a month from now try that trend. Yeah, I think you have to tap in and you have to really do it with consistency to see a difference.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think if anybody can get something out of this conversation, it's that, these manifestation of stress in our skin, like eczema, for example, it comes from, it's a byproduct, it's a sign of something deeper. Right? It's not like, and then in North America, you go to a doctor, you go to a pharmacist, they give you a cream to treat the eczema.
Band-Aid.
Yeah, but we're not treating the eczema as much as we're going to treat what causes the eczema, which is poor nutrition, poor sleep, lack of drinking water, microplastics in our environment, gut health. There's a video of I'm going to reference an Instagram video. There's a video of a guy trying to feed a bear, his pet bear, McDonald's hamburger, and the bear won't eat it because the bear doesn't recognize it's food.
It's not food.
Yeah. The bear is like, what are you giving me this crap for, right? It's like, and there's another video of a woman who found a McDonald's Happy Meal in a bag that's 25 years old. It hasn't changed. The bugs didn't eat it. There's no mold.
Yeah, it's not real food.
It's not real food. So what do people think is going to happen when you put when you stuff your body full of this stuff?
Yeah, it's crazy. And why I love to talk about, so I'm like equal parts science nerd and equal parts like woo-woo manifestation and like visualizations.
Totally.
So the nerd side of me loves the talk about energy because it comes down to like the mitochondria in our cells, like the energy factories in our cells. And they rely on sunlight at certain times. You need that morning sunlight exposure. They need sleep and rest and rejuvenation. It's not just rest by like scrolling. Like you need to actually sleep and allow your cells to like clean and cleanse and work through your arteries. And it needs movement. Like movement creates energy in each and every one of your cells, right? Like we're 37 trillion cells or something like that. And each one needs an energy boost with light, with movement, with proper nutrition and fuel, with rest. So when your body is telling you that it's exhausted, that it's tired, that it's aching, that it's hurting, it's inflamed, it's sending you a message from inside that things are not aligned. Like we're not getting what we need. And we're not getting what we need because we're eating a lot of crap most of the time. It's not real food, so our body is not getting real nutrients. right? Like,
Skittles.
Well, I mean, no judgment. I mean, if you have it once in a while, God bless you.
yeah,
Enjoy
like
the
my
Skittles.
house is we're an equal opportunity house over here. We have everything. We have organic and there's
Yeah.
like O. Henry in the cupboard. But it's not
Yeah.
all of the time. And we recognize that in order to feel good, we need to put good stuff in. In order to be restful, we need to give our bodies and our mind rest. In order to be agile and able and strong, we need to boost our metabolism and move our muscles. So it's just this connection. And I'm passing that on to my daughters as well. They see me doing it.
Amazing.
And they're athletic and they want to try this and they want to try that. And the point is, I truly believe I was given my 3 girls for a reason. They've each taught me something different. And that's part of the mission as well, is teaching these young women coming up that you're allowed to take time for yourself. Actually, you deserve it. Actually, you should. It's just part of who you are. And your body is yours to take care of. Like, this is going to take you through life. We can't treat it like trash now and be like, oh, I'll get to it later.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a big one. That's a
Yeah.
big one. When we're young, we think we're invincible. We think, you know what, I'm going to live forever. You know, I'm going to feel this good forever. You know, no matter what I do, everything just works. And then one morning you wake up and it's not like that. And you're like, what the hell? And then
yeah.
you feel like your body is attacking you, or like it's, you know, and it's such an interesting feeling and experience to realize that you're not invincible.
No, we've had this conversation many times. It's when you're sick, you're 55 years old and you're sick, that is the wrong time to worry. I mean, you have to worry about your health, but it's almost already too late.
No,
If you take care of your body 20, 30 years prior to, like, you know, prevention is far more effective than trying to fix with drugs and surgery and whatever it is down the road. Prevention is number one.
Absolutely. If you want to be in your 50s, 60s, and 70s and you want to travel and you want to play with your grandkids and you want to like pick up your own groceries, like that starts now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That starts when you're in your 20s and 30s and 40s. That is a foundation that you have to build over time. And those habits don't just click. Like, you have to keep trying different methods, different habits, different timing, different skill sets, and see what really works for your life. So it's a constant journey. But yeah, I feel like we get to the point where, you know, you can pull all-nighters and eat crap and you're good when you're 20s. And you stay up late when you're like 40 and you're like you're out for 3 days.
That's my bedtime.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I mean, I used to be able to at least have a couple of beers when I was like 19, 20. Now, forget it. Forget it.
You're a cheap drunk now.
I can't touch a drop of alcohol. It'll just affect me greatly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think, you know, I initially feel like so many women feel exhausted and depleted, but I would argue that a lot of men feel that too. And I think instead of in this conversation, what are some simple but powerful self-care strategies that we can implement today? Like, if we wanted to listen to a podcast and we wanted to make a change, one change, what would be something, where would be a good place to start in feeling more energized and resilient to our daily
Yeah.
lives?
So I could probably go on and talk about like 7 things.
Okay,
But
let's do like
let's do like 2. Let's do 2.
Yeah, let's do that.
I think understanding that slowing down is not a bad thing. I think we need to learn to give ourselves time and space to actually feel our body. Like, we are in overdrive all of the time. I don't think people actually know what like a real deep breath feels like. I don't think what most people know what it
Yes.
feels like when their body is actually at peace. And some people might actually fight peace. Like, they're so used to being in chaos and struggle. So I think finding moments of rest and peace, whether that's meditation or just deep breathing, like 10 minutes, just give yourself
And
10
that's
minutes.
not scrolling on Instagram or YouTube or any of that. It's silence, solitude, moments of independent, quiet peace.
Yes. Without any inputs, like you said.
Yes.
So no podcast in your ear, no music. Your
Yes.
mind is going to race until it stops until it starts to quiet. I think
have to train it.
You have to train
not
that.
something like you can just sit down and do
moments
it
of tuning in. Yeah. Moments of tuning in. I think that's number one, because usually in that silence, you'll understand what you need to do. Like your body will tell you. And the next thing for me is movement. If I can get anyone just off of the couch, going for a walk outside in the morning, I think that is something that can absolutely change. That can change it for somebody. Even if you want to lower your blood sugar, so you're going to go for a 10-15 minute walk after you eat your largest meal, I think that can change somebody's health too. Movement has always been a part of my life, and it will always be. And I think that's one small lever that we can pull for our energy and for our health. It doesn't have to be extreme. It literally can be that 10-minute walk. I think those two things can make a big difference in somebody's health and their energy.
Absolutely.
So number one would be moments of solitude, rest, and peace. So moments of quiet. And number two would be movement. What's number three?
Number three, I'm going to go with a good, solid, protein-filled breakfast. I like taking a moment to actually enjoy your food and see what's on your plate and eat well. Make sure it's well-rounded. You know, you wake up in the morning.
Breakfast. Like when you say protein, what would be? Can you give me an example of a good, solid protein breakfast?
Yeah. So what I had today was I had 2 eggs, scrambled, onions, garlic, mushrooms, spinach, and I had a slice of toast and I had some kiwi. So that's what I had for breakfast this morning.
Kiwi. Slice of kiwi.
Oh.
And that's what I had this morning. And on those days where I get like a nice solid full breakfast, I'm good until like 2 o'clock. Like I can just go.
Yeah.
And that's the energy that you want. You don't want to be crashing an hour or two after you have that smoothie, because the smoothie might be healthy, but it might be all fruit. It might be all sugar.
Yeah.
So you might still crash. I think making sure that we're getting protein through the day is really important. For me, it's a protein strong breakfast, I think is really important, because most of us are just rushing so early. I think that can be a big change because it changes the way your body uses energy. It changes that crash, and it helps you not have those same cravings that you typically would afternoon and night.
You guys remember we used to have a bowl of Lucky Charms and Cocoa Chums? And that was a breakfast with orange juice?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Frosted Flakes with
Frosted
tropical
Flakes.
orange juice.
Oh, yeah.
And skim milk. And I used to think that I had a good solid.
Yeah, because you wanted the 0% fat because fat was bad. Yeah. And then you realize, holy crap, I need the fat. Right? Later on, years later, you realize that.
Fat.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
And that giant orange juice, because orange juice is oranges, right? But without the fiber, so it's a straight shot into your veins of sugar. But we're taught by what we see, and it's commercialized. It's big companies who are paying for you to buy their stuff. So it takes a lot of relearning.
Well, the best part about...
The more you know. Oh, my God. Chernell, we could talk forever about this. I feel like there's so much to talk about. Even, I wanted you to come on here and do, a meditation with our community, because you have the most beautiful voice. I just have to say this before we sort of close off this episode. Chernell came to one of my in-person workshops, and I asked her to do an opening, a meditation for our girls. And she literally shut down the lights.
The power went out. It was so good.
It was so magic.
That's great.
It was so good.
The energy in the room just took the power out.
Back, they'll do a meditation for a community. She has so much to offer you guys. If you're struggling with burnout, stress, trying to figure out how to make it all happen, she is your girl. So you just have a wealth of knowledge. So please tell me about 1 or 2 of your programs that we can, someone could jump on right now if they wanted to.
Yeah.
How can women work with you?
So right now I have a group program and a one-on-one program. It's actually going through kind of its next iteration. So if anybody wants to find out about kind of the newest level, definitely send me a message. I'm most active on Instagram. They can find me there. But it is a 90-day container, and we go through nutrition, movement, sleep, rest, joy, play, creativity, boundaries. And in this next iteration, we're actually talking a lot more about blood sugar in the nervous system, like how to calm our bodies down so we take ourselves out of that stress response so all the good things we're doing can actually work. And that's coming up next. So I accept clients kind of one-to-one on an ongoing basis. And the group program has different cohorts. So that will be launching soon.
Perfect. I love that you have play in there. It's so important. And adults don't play enough. We need to inject more play into our life. Okay, so we're going to put all of your contact information in the show notes. So if you want to connect with Chernell, you can. You can also reach out to me and you can ask me for that if you need to. I can happily share. What an incredible conversation with you today, Chernell. Thank you so much. I always love talking to you. I love your holistic approach to wellness and how you connect the dots between mindset and movement and play and true self-care. If today's conversation resonated with you and you're ready to take back your energy and truly thrive, be sure to connect with Chernell. Her expertise and guidance are truly transformational. You can find all the details, as I said, on how to work with her, how to connect with her in our show notes. And until next time, remember, taking care of yourself is not a luxury. It's an absolute necessity. Thank you, Chernell, for being here.
You're so very welcome. Can I say one more thing before we sign off for good?
I would love you to.
I'm running out of all of my products and I need to order more.
If they're following us, you'll know that Chernell is one of our longest models. She's also a customer, and you'll find her all over our socials and on our website. But she's one of my favorites. I love you. Thank you. We'll ship you something good for this.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been so much fun. Yeah, we should come back next time and we like a whole meditation piece. Yeah, that'll be really fun.
Yes.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll chat soon. Thanks for listening to Live Saranghae with us, Peter and Andrea. If you've enjoyed this episode, leave us a review. Your ratings and reviews help more people like you find our show. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode and share this podcast with someone you think would love it. Until next time, love yourself, love one another, and love the world.